So usually I make this as an individual drink in the book, but for this I thought I'd create a picture version because it's really a fun drink to do for a party. That's the thing about sangria, everybody likes it, kind of brings people together. Though when you taste this, you may not want to share your picture. So as I was saying, getting back to Driscoll's for a second, these are, I think I usually try to buy, these are organic strawberries. I know there's, people debate about organic, whether it's necessary or not. For berries and soft fruits like that, which really absorb what's put on them, I always like to use organics. So you can kind of make your own decision on that. And plus I think they taste really wonderful.
It's true, and supposedly strawberries rank one of the highest for pesticide absorption of fruits and vegetables you can buy. So especially for kids, it's kind of a good idea to get organic.
And grapes also, so something to think about. So when you're going to do a summery cocktail that has grapefruit like this, I think one of the ways to kind of capture every bit of it is by muddling. So I'm going to take out, this is my cocktail my glass. Probably a lot of you have those metal cocktail shakers that have the pretty top on them. Do you use those much? Really? You were like the only one, because I had one that I used to love to display until I lost the top to it doing something. But honestly, what I've seen, I remember watching, I was judging a bartending competition. This guy was there, and he was making his drink, he was doing his shake thing, and then he's trying to get the lid off, and he's standing there in front of everybody. He's a professional bartender, and I'm like, oh man, it's like you knew better than that. So that's why I use this kind. It's called, the Boston Shaker. This is what professionals use, and then you use it with a Hawthorne strainer. So if you want to pour, go like that. So it's not that hard. You just kind of have to pour kind of decisively so it doesn't dribble out of the glass. But the thing I like doing with this is what I'll muddle in. So for this one, if you're making it individually, you'll only be using a couple berries. For this, since I'm doing it for a crowd, I'm doing it 16 raspberries and 16 blueberries. So muddling, in the age of the mojito, probably everyone has one of these or has thought about getting one. It's a good thing to have. This was the first one a friend gave to me from Brazil. She brought it back for doing caipirinhas. And I have to admit, I didn't know what to do with it for the first probably 4 years that I had it. I just kind of stuck it in a drawer until I figured out what it was. And this is kind of a newer style of muddler. This is easier to clean because if you're working in a professional setting, you can't clean this as thoroughly. So this was like a metal handle with plastic, but I still like using my old school one. So you want to do this, and you don't want to be wearing white when you're muddling. So I'm just going to do these soft berries first. And you're just basically pushing it down firmly. Now when you're doing something like limes, you don't want to muddle them too hard, because what happens is you start releasing the bitter part in the skin, and that doesn't taste very good. And I have had drinks out where you end up tasting that. This is a lot of berries, okay. Maybe I'll just dump these in here first and then muddle the rest, because I don't think they would go flying all over the place otherwise. So, this is why bartenders hate drinks like mojitos, because there's no shortcut to doing this.
Yeah, because if you were to use a blender, it wouldn't really work, right?
Well, I suppose you could use a blender and have it pureed, but then it wouldn't be as fresh kind of to the moment. So let's see, oh my gosh, how many berries have I got left? You counted out 16? Okay, well we're only going to do 13 in this recipe, okay? So when you're at home, you can do the full number. If it was up to me, you could.
And also, if anybody has questions, just raise your hand. I'll come down and pass the mic around.
Questions are good. So, should talk a little bit about the wine we're using. I'll pull this out while I'm muddling. This one is called Rosa Regale. It's a Brachetto d'Acqui. And Brachetto, that's just, the Rosa Regale is just one of the brands, but you can find other types of Brachetto. But it's a fun wine. It's actually an ancient grape that Cleopatra loved, and it was considered an aphrodisiac back in her day. So there are stories of her serving it to Mark Antony and Julius Caesar, then bringing it to her, kind of vice versa. So everyone loved Brachetto back then. Okay, well, I might as well do the last three. Okay, it's only three. Okay, I'll keep going. So the thing I like about it now, it has a really distinctive aroma, like roses and raspberries and kind of cranberry. And flavor-wise, it has a very sweet tart kind of flavor profile. So it keeps it from being cloying. So that's what makes it interesting to drink, like we're talking about, again, that balance. What do you want? Okay.
Maria, may I ask one quick question?
Sure.
On the white sangria, because you're putting a sparkling wine in it, how long
Yes.
can you leave that out?
Where are you?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like,
I'm the voice
from
from
the
the past.
Well, it's a sparkling. I mean, it's going to lose bubbles as it's sitting, but honestly, it's just one. So if you have a group of people, it's probably not going to, change that much in the time that it's gone. So, did that answer your question? Okay. Okay. Good.
Is this wine hard to find, Maria?
No, not particularly. I've seen it at Bevmo pretty frequently, and they have other brands. Is that where you found it? Yes. Yes, and it used to be on sale more. Usually now it's about $18 to $19.
Sometimes it seems that people shy away from making interesting drinks because they think, oh, I'm never going to find that stuff.
Yes.
When in fact, more and more beverage stores are carrying these interesting, unusual liqueurs.
And I've seen some huge Bevmos up here too, like very well stocked. So you can find everything. It's the Bay Area. So. Okay. It's a different grape from Lambrusco. So, and I think it's sweeter than most Lambruscos as well. So the next thing we're going to be adding is cognac. So that's again adding that bitterness from the alcohol. This is one I love, and this is also Tom. He originally made it with this Landy cognac. This is actually by Pierre Ferrand. They make a higher end line that's much more expensive, and this is like their second line. And I think it's maybe $20 a bottle. How much? Oh, it's on sale for $26. Okay, I have seen it for a little bit less, but it's amazing. So we're going to be adding a cup of that to our mixture. So this is not a cognac to be taken light. I mean, a sangria to be taken lightly, by any means. So, and our other liqueur we're using is the creme de cassis. Now, a lot of people confuse this with Chambord. They have a similar color, but very different in flavor. Chambord is a black raspberry liqueur. This is black currant, and so it's much more tart, and it has a kind of almost more of a depth to it. And so it's also once again going to help add that balance that we want in our drink. So we're using a half a cup of the creme de cassis.
And this is something that is traditional for Kir Royale, right? Or is that Chambord?
It is, exactly. The Kir Royale. That's why a lot of people make that mistake too with the Kir Royale, and they wonder like, oh, it's kind of a sweet, boring drink. It's like, well, that's because, and also the other thing with the Kir Royale, you always want to use some lemon zest, a twist, because that bitterness from the lemon oil adds the complexity that the drink needs. So we put those two together, and then we're going to be adding, once again, more of our homemade sour mix, just a half a cup. Okay. And so once you make this, you'll just have it in a bottle in your refrigerator, so you can pull it out anytime you want. If you want to make a margarita, you've got it.
How long does it last?
I can say you keep it for about a month in your refrigerator. Yeah, 2 weeks to a month. And then a quarter cup of orange juice. Excuse me. Okay, and then give it a little stir. And then once again, you can hold there. Now the way I like to serve this one is, since we're doing it for a group, and so I want everyone, there's two other things you put in it. It's a little bit of slice of orange and a slice of lemon. And I want everyone to get some in their glass, so we don't have to try to use a spoon. So usually what I'll do is I'll take my glasses. I usually cut the slices in half so they fit nicely in the glass. Just slices of lemon. Do them thinly like this. Okay, and I guess I will use these super cute, I think these are from IKEA, right? Super cute little glasses. So put a slice of each in each one.